Alright, we got a lot to review. But yeah, we caught that long Friday morning after we had the overnight move down. So let's see if we can figure out what the next plan is. Dow Jones never came up into the premium, but the question was if we even needed to do that. So, yeah. Alright. I'm just going to leave this. It's kind of ugly, but. So we still got that monthly inefficiency down there. Nothing really else besides the quarterly here that might be in play at some point. So this low oh, we already have the quarterly low marked out. Whoops. Alright, so yeah, weekly we're still holding this weekly inefficiency actually. Weekly, let's see. Huh, yeah, we're still holding that because we had a daily down there. Also still being held. But it's been traded to multiple times. And we are holding this weekly. Wow, look at that. Delete that. And then we created a daily there. So this daily is for sure now. And then the new week opening gap. But yeah, this low was the one that NASDAQ and Russell both took out. And ES also had the divergence there at the highs, but it never delivered there. But it's delivered into a premium, while YM hasn't. So we'll get into that. There's too many things to keep track of, so I'm just going to quickly make sure I get all my PD arrays in order. This daily is still here, and we're still respecting this weekly. That's kind of my problem, is it's like, okay, like, this is just messy. I'm just gonna move this. I don't know. We literally came down. If we use that. I don't know, dude. Whatever. is actually like a BPR. Or sorry, whatever, BPR, we'll call it that. So yeah, on the 4 hour you can see we really like this order block. And that's where we had like a change in character into this move lower. Alright, so yeah, we've got this premium discount marked out. Premium is like right back above that weekly. Yeah, this is all took out the high, failed, traded back through it. And there was a 1 hour there. This is just getting messy, dude. Yeah, we got multiple 4 hours. I don't know what else to say. It's just inefficiencies everywhere. We have this little order block there. And then the smooth high range, prior day range. Daily high. Yeah, daily high is just the inefficiency. So yeah, if you think we're gonna go higher, we just came back down to the new week opening gap there. Let's see, we had a little 15-minute fair value gap here. I don't think I even have the template for it. Oh wait. So yeah, a little 15-minute there. Let's make sure this hourly kind of got violated. But yeah, obviously smooth highs there. Untapped 15-minute. But we displaced above this high. Yes, we sort of disrespected it and took out those equal lows. But we are holding that move up. There's been no market structure shifts to the downside. Alright, so yeah, just smooth highs all the way up. Let me double check the weekend Wall Street. I always forget to do that. So yeah, not much. Slightly down. Nothing just to really say too much about that. Let's check the weekend Wall Street. Yeah. Down 0.1%. That's funny. The Dow is back into here. on the weekend overnight trading. All right. So on the Dow, there was a nice little gap here to keep an eye on. So yeah, nice little gap there. Don't really know if this needs to actually come up into a premium though. Same gap there. Cool. So, yeah, nice big displacement there on the quarterly. So we'll see if what happens at this quarter. Monthly chart, we do have a monthly inefficiency there, continuing to go higher. So I'd honestly want to see this get traded to before the quarter ends if this is going to be bearish. But yeah, monthly discount reached already. Weekly inefficiency. It looks like it wants to hold that. It's so weird. This one held. Such a big gap right there. So you can see this is really clean. Yeah, displacement higher. And the weekly as well. Daily, no shifts to the downside. So now we've got this really clean daily there. Already reached a premium of that. Let's clean this up a bit. Draw on liquidity is lower if we go lower. Relative equal lows. Took out those smooth highs. Okay. Alright, so little displacement on the upside there. Got little 1 hours here. Oops. So yeah, nice little overlap there. And we did get a bit of a market structure shift, but just above that high. So yeah, there is a market structure shift, but yeah, obviously we already took this high out, and so we're waiting to see if we're gonna get followed through. Oh, yeah. But yeah, we did reach a premium, which is kind of a change in character though, because first of all, ES didn't take out the swing low, as you can see here. ES didn't take out the swing, neither did the Dow. And Russell and NASDAQ both did. And I don't even think, this doesn't look like it's a premium on Russell. Wow, yeah, very far away. I thought Russell reached a premium. Oh, no, it didn't. It just took out. Yeah, okay, I remember. So yeah, Russell hasn't reached a premium either. So let's just ignore this. But there is a divergence there with NASDAQ, and we're bouncing, and NASDAQ's reached a premium, but also has, so has ES. And that's just confusing, because these were both weak, and there was, no, I guess it makes sense. NASDAQ had some weakness there. We sell off, take the low. Problem is we've got this big divergence to think about, and for the Dow to really sell off like that, and then both NASDAQ and ES both have reached a premium, to me that means we still want to go lower on the Dow, and if we want lower on the Dow, we're probably going to go for these lows, which gets rid of that whole bounce, which makes this sell-off all still in play. So we've had some sort of like a change in character then here on those guys, but got those highs. Yeah. 4 hour, we did have a shift there. Came down, took out the tapped just shy of the order block, if maybe the daily. Nope, yeah, nailed it. So hit the order block, big displacement on the 4 hour down, and then divergence there, so yeah, that just seems bearish to me. Check. Okay. And we even shifted below this low here on the 4 hour. And we did dig deep into that, but that kind of supports that. You know, we're taking out this short-term swing. And YM is failing to do that. So I'm curious to see what this looks like on the smaller time frames, because I didn't watch the PM session unfold. Or even lunch for that matter. Oh, well, here's something. Yeah, clear SMT with Russell there on the long that we had. So yeah, we've got the classic sell-off divergence that we would normally get. The question is this really going to be the short, or is it going to still want the premium first and then get the short? Because this could just be a trigger for the Dow to get back into a discount. But the thing is, here now we've got a nice divergence there for Russell. And even Russell is like popped up off that. But yeah, we saw the overnight trading come back even lower though, so we'll see how it opens. But yeah, I think this makes sense because Dow never took out the low. And Russell and NASDAQ did, and we had like a little bit of that sell-off being actually from not just that total divergence, but the divergence in strength from ES and NASDAQ here. This divergence. So NASDAQ was delivering on that weakness, and now we've bounced. We've reached into a premium, and YM has failed to do that. And it doesn't even need to though, because it never took out the swing low. And on top of that, Russell came and swept out the highs, so there's a divergence there. And this is a divergence with the daily too, so. But it's also with that PM session. PM session high. Which we don't know how far it really would want to go up, but could literally go all the way up into a premium and still be a short, which we've seen be tricky with like that. So, but that is the one missing element. Is I would think that Russell would want a premium because it took out liquidity. We'll have to check. But yeah, I need to finish this, just the top down. Alright, so yeah, quarterly, creating inefficiency, want to see that kind of come down before the quarter closes, if it's going to be really bearish. Weekly has traded through that move up and kind of not really respected it. It's closed below it, but we'll see. We still have this weekly inefficiency that we got that leg into that got us to get up. Daily, we did have a confirmed market structure shift on NASDAQ and a new divergence, which got us to deliver lower. I have this drawn out, but now it's here. So So we've got that daily there. We've also already hit a premium. Just make sure it's deleted because it is very messy to keep that on the chart. It's already very ugly enough with all my crap on there. But yeah, nice little displacement. We'll see how much of it is going to get traded into if we do. But we did sweep that low. So this is the next low to watch out for. But the thing is, now we've got really nice smooth lows, and I would think that if we're going to get a nice short off of this, it's going to literally come down all the way down into this support resistance liquidity below this low into the monthly. So but yeah, we've got that daily up there. Lots of crap up there too. Need to delete that. Alright, 4 hour. Same story. We've got some shifts. We even got one there. Shifting below. But yeah, obviously that still played out. Another shift that got respected. Now we've rebalanced that. And so we're really looking to see if there's going to be some sort of trade short into this level, to this area. And yeah, we have a nice little Bissy here. Did take that high out, of course. 1 hour, we've already filled that 4 hour in perfectly. But let me actually put it back, just because that way we have context. So yeah, we did that, traded through it, but very much respecting it. And there is one up here too, but I doubt it will come into play. So yeah, that's all the things we're looking at there. 1 hour chart, we do have some alignment with these. And a perfectly nested 1 hour with the 4 hour. And then no shifts above this high yet. Looks like it is respecting that 4 hour, at least so far. And then yeah, now for the 15-minute, we've even taken out this lunch high. We're into premium already. And there's this really nice order block that literally lines up with this double imbalance that got displaced to the upside and then displaced through to the downside. So that's kind of interesting that that's there. Even perfectly nailed it there. And we got the regular trading hours gap there, I think. Qs. Looks like that is just one big inefficiency. Just always just gaps everywhere on these charts, so it's hard to care too much about all of them. Yeah, there's a nice little gap there. That little gap's being respected, but at the same time there's an inefficiency there now too, so it's just like, okay, whatever. Forgot to check SPY. Did I check SPY? Yeah, same thing, just a gap there. That also got respected. But on SPY, it's a much clearer fair value gap here. So that might be the play. Lots of overlapping new week opening gaps, but there's always new week opening gaps on these charts. So yeah, just a much clearer inefficiency into this area. Alright, let me just quickly do Russell. I'm getting distracted by so many things. Russell swept all-time highs. We got a monthly there. Quarterly. No discount on the quarterly, but also same story basically on everything. Weekly, monthly, there is a totally unfilled inefficiency there on the monthly. That might be the draw on liquidity for this move. If we're going to completely keep going lower, which I would think we are. Daily, big daily, SIBI, smooth lows now is the draw with this really nice support resistance liquidity with a nice smooth low lining up with that. So this is like the point of interest for me on higher time frame. All right, we got this daily gap. This should be like blue. It's so strong looking. Yeah, there's a gap up and then displacement through it. So this is a really nice level for me. If it's gonna come up there. Yeah, we haven't reached into a premium yet. Premium is at the top end of this new week opening gap, which lines up with maybe getting up into that order block. Nothing on the downside to mark this as like a clear move down yet. On the daily, there's no displacements yet. Or rocket structure shifts, I mean. There's a displacement here, but that's still within the range. But on the 4 hour, we had still nothing really. Yeah, still nothing confirmed. So my bias could be wrong bearish wise. I'm just looking at it right now from the perspective of the bearish side because of that Dow Jones move. Yeah, just a big inefficiency still. And it lines up with the 4 hour, all that. 1 hour, we've got SMT now. Inside of this range. But I kind of would still like to see the premium since Russell took out that low. So yeah, I'm gonna mark an alert there. Oh wait, oops. Let's mark out this fair value gap. BISI. And then we've got a 1 hour. They all have a 1 hour right here. And we almost shifted above that high, but we didn't. Yeah, so far we're like treating this as support. I think this is a breaker. Can't remember what breakers are. But yeah, smooth highs still on the highs. I could easily see this stabbing up into a premium still. Maybe use the CE of the daily there. And it could just, who knows how far it would want to go up, but I'd want to see the premium Yeah. That's the thing, though, is everybody. Russell hasn't hit a premium, so it's just tricky. Oh. But for now, that would have still been a nice little short with the Dow because look at this. Now we've hit a discount on the Dow. As soon as we took this high out, right here, we had a nice little move up. I'm just looking if there's a change in character there. There's not. Yeah, no change in character there besides on NASDAQ. Yeah, either way, I mean, it's still kind of delivered on that. So I still think this is going to go up. And there may even be a buy opportunity at the open if we're back down into a discount. Especially on Russell. So I still like longs on Russell into a premium. But I don't know, that's the thing though, because maybe that's the divergence, is that these guys did reach premium and these guys didn't. And the NASDAQ has that weakness with the Russell that kind of helped trigger the short, maybe. With this swing high. But, alright, let's just confirm this bias though with the flows if we can get it. So, nice move up. We had bullish flows into the highs, and then as we started consolidating into the middle of the day, you can see that we just consolidated. The calls came way down. The puts didn't really come that much up in SPY or the Tide, but the volumes just came way down because the calls came down. So they really did start taking a lot of profit there in the Tide, and SPY didn't have a ton of premium, but it did end up flipping red on the SPY net, and same thing with the calls, kind of came down there too. Qs kind of just flat. Q Holdings, what the heck? It's weird. Q Holdings also had the volume start to show up in the call selling, so I think they just completely took profits there, which is a little bit bearish. So I think they took profits. I think they may gap this down or something like that, and then that might still be a long. Dow Jones, not clear, just bull flows, but not much of it. And Russell had really bear flows into the open as we opened up red, but the volume in the calls was just crazy. Oh wait, no, sorry, that was not bear flows. It was super bullish flows. And then into the highs, we actually got more bullish. they did some trickery, but ended up being bullish into the consolidation. So that kind of lines up with that. So yeah, I think there's going to be some sort of long. I think Russell needs a premium for the sell-off to really work. I think ES and NASDAQ could be, still in the area where they would be done, but I think they're going to sweep out these smooth highs. And I even think Dow is also going to do that. So we'll see where we open, but I think there's going to be a sort of discount buy. I think we already got it on the Dow, but we may get something here. Currencies ended up delivering that fair value gobble setup, at least to a minimum target of the premium. So now we're just going to see if the dollar strength is going to continue. Dollar strength. But there wasn't like a signal or anything. It could keep going up. There's a lot of smooth highs on euro. The pound is being really slow to move though. But yeah, I think the euro could easily go higher and take out all these smooth highs. That is like a classic setup there. And then gold had a really big sell-off with the silver divergence. Still holding the copper divergence. Sort of thing, if you can call it that. But yeah, there is a very clear setup there on gold that swept equal highs, perfect touch of the order block into a bearish higher time frame inefficiency order block, lining up with a fair value gap. Boom, big sharp move down, big market structure shift. So I think smooth lows are all going to be swept out on gold, and if you can capture it, that would be great. Even another divergence there. And then a change in character here on gold, marking the short in silver. And then a continuation set up there. Yeah. Gold took these equal lows out first. So, yeah, I think these are all smooth highs though, so maybe it's going to offer up a nice re-entry short into this order block. So that'd be cool. Alright, but yeah, quick check on these guys. Make sure I'm not missing anything. All of them kind of held that gap there on the regular trading hours. Or whatever. You know what I mean. Dow Jones, when it got its shot into there, it completely rejected it. But I would still look for maybe these go higher and then come down and then there's a bounce, and then that's when Dow takes this high out, those concurrent highs, but not the premium or something like that. But yeah, alright. And technically, NASDAQ did come higher than ES2 when it got up into here. Took out that 4 hour. Let me check if there's a certain level. Lunch. So yeah, ES never took out this lunch high, and NASDAQ did. So there is like a sort of shorty behavior happening here. So yeah, maybe these guys are gonna come dig down into a discount, and that may offer up a long back up into that. Maybe even on the Dow. Yeah, some sort of a six sister, I think. Yeah, that's about it. News this week. We finally have news showing back up. Still some tentative stuff going on, but at least Monday we've got a clear orange folder. So yeah, the 19th we've got, I don't know, we've got mixed news reportings. But yeah, Monday looks good. On Financial Juice it says we've even got crude oil and meeting minutes. I don't know what's going on with that. But on Forex Factory, which has actually been updating faster, we just have the orange folders. Tuesday everything's tentative. Wednesday we have FOMC meeting minutes, and then Thursday, and none of these are tentative. Thursday we've got some of the non-farm payroll stuff, and then PMI on Friday, and none of that says tentative, so that could be really good. So yeah, we'll see what happens when the news fully updates. But on weekend Wall Street, it looks like the Dow already came down here and swept this low out. It never came back all the way down yet into that inefficiency. But that would make me assume that, you know, a lot of these have come back down into this 1 hour. So, which means they might be revisited during the actual trading. So, yeah. So yeah, dollar. Oh yeah, let's look at VIX too. That's always been helpful. So yeah, VIX swept that last high. It's been exploding back down. Failed to displace below that low. Oops. But yeah, it did take out that low. Looks like it's created relative equal lows, so that actually lines up with things actually coming back up to the highs. VIX futures also has smooth lows, but it never took out those equal highs. So that like literally perfectly aligns with what I'm looking for. So equal lows, there's an order block down there and a nice gap, and then higher time frame VIX futures has a really nice draw on liquidity, but you could also see that as a divergence. So, but either way, there's like a pool of liquidity below both for it to like keep continuing up, and then also a nice juicy area for it to come and sweep with. Even on the short-term futures, we've got that too. So SPX, never look at that. Oh, and we've got equal lows on, you know, ES, and yeah. Yeah, let's look at the dollar really quick on the non-inverted chart. So yeah, it's come down. It swept that high out. which is quarterly inefficiency. So yeah, I just tapped up into that quarterly inefficiency. Monthly, a little displacement maybe being created. Nice little weekly gap being respected so far. And we still do have like smooth highs up into this wick. Yeah, we swept out these equal lows. We've come down into the order block. This is like fair value gobble order block. So you would think this is going to retrace back up into a premium. You think. So yeah, I think this is still going to go back up, which means that would be down right here on the inverted chart, which means these guys would roll back over. So we're just looking for some sort of divergence here. So yeah, I bet there's going to be a nice short opportunity in the euro and the pound. The thing is, pound took out all of these lows, and so you would still want to think that this is going to get, you know, up into a premium too. So I wouldn't be surprised if that still needs to come lower maybe. It doesn't need to hold that fair value gap. And look at all these smooth lows. Maybe it's going to come back down and take out all that. But yeah, we'll see. Don't know. All right. That is it for me. So yeah, so since these guys have gone higher, I'd want to see like some sort of discount and some, yeah, obviously some SMT. So I bet there's going to be something into this range and then some sort of move back up and then maybe a short all the way back down later into the week or next week.